Chapter 14. You have a talent for learning English. The next day is Friday and I go to school again. I am very happy because I like my school. I like my teacher. I like my classmates. I like everything about my school. It is a good place to learn English. In my class there are students from many different countries. This is very interesting. Some students are from Europe. Some students are from South America. There is also one student from Japan and one from South Korea. This is good for me because the students don't speak my native language. When I speak to them, I have to use only English. This is very good for my practice. I speak English a lot in this class. Today we have a new student in our class. Her name is Sofia. She is from Argentina. At the beginning of the lesson, our teacher asks Sofia to introduce herself. Sofia says, "Hello, my name is Sofia. I am from Argentina. I think I don't have a talent for learning languages. My sister learns English very fast, but for me it is difficult. I want to work hard to be better at English." Our teacher listens to Sofia and then asks her, "Why do you think you don't have a talent?" Sofia answers, "I think I don't have a talent because my sister learns English very fast. But for me, it is difficult." Then our teacher asks everyone in the class, "Do you think you have a talent for learning languages?" Please put your hand up if you believe you have a talent. I look around the class and nobody puts their hands up. Nobody thinks they have a talent for learning languages. Our teacher smiles. She looks at us and says, "Now I want to tell you something very important. Many people think that you need to have a talent if you really want to learn a new language. I agree. Yes, you need to have a talent if you want to learn a new language. But I also believe that you already have a talent for learning languages. Why do you have a talent? You have a talent because you already learned one language, which is your native language. You were successful at learning your native language, and you speak that language fluently. All people who can learn their native language have a talent for learning languages. Why do many students believe that they are not talented? The reason is this. There are people who are super talented. Yes, it is true. These super talented people remember new words very fast and for a longer time. Maybe you know these people. Maybe it is somebody at your work or in your family. There are not many of these people, but they exist. I believe that this can be Sofia's sister as well. Learning a new language is fun for these people, and they can do it easily. Sofia says that it is true that her sister is really better than everybody else. Our teacher continues. It is true that these super talented people exist. It is a fact, and we can't do anything about it. And it is not a problem. The problem is that we compare ourselves to these people, and if we don't learn as fast as they do, we think we are not talented. I want to ask you for one thing. Please do not compare yourself to these super talented people. Yes, they are lucky and they have an advantage. But you can be lucky too, and you are super talented at other things. Maybe you are more talented than others when you learn to sing, swim, play tennis, count numbers, cook, or repair cars. People are not all the same. It is a beauty of this world. Now you can believe that you are also talented. Maybe not super talented, but talented. When you believe that you are talented, learning English will be easier for you. These words from our teacher are very helpful for us. I know that I am talented at playing football and tennis. Now, I know that I am also talented at learning English. It is great. And what is also great is that there is a school party in the evening. I really look forward to this party. I know that some girls from our class are going. I hope our new student Sofia is also going to the party. I know Sofia for only one day, but I like her very much. Remember, if you can speak your first language, then you have ability for learning English. Chapter 15. You can speak English fluently. On Monday, I go to school again. Our teacher asks us about the school party on Friday. One student says the party was great. We had a lot of drinks and fun. The girls from our class liked the party too. I liked the party a lot because Sophia was there. I could talk to her and we danced together. It was very nice. 2 boys from my football team were also at the party. These boys are from Brazil. Their English was basic. They could speak only in short sentences, but they were very funny at the party. They made a lot of jokes about life in England, about other players from our team, and about girls from their class. Their sentences were very short with only 3 or 4 words, but they were able to speak fluently. When we talk about the party, I tell my teacher, it was interesting to see that someone who doesn't know many words can already speak fluently. I know some students who are at a much higher level, and they can't speak fluently. My teacher says the 2 boys from your football team showed you the right way. The boys used what they knew. They cared only about what was important. It was communication. Then one girl asks, "So what can we do if we want to speak English fluently? Go to parties and make jokes?" My teacher says, "First, let me explain what fluent speaking is." Many students think that fluent speaking is fast speaking with a lot of words and perfect grammar, but there is a better definition of fluent speaking. Fluent speaking is speaking without long pauses. Some people can do it at 1,000 words. Some people can do it at 2,000 words. But there are also people who know 3,000 words and aren't able to speak fluently. If you want to speak fluently, you have to practice speaking. There is no other way to improve your fluency. Speaking is a physical activity. It is like playing a musical instrument. If you want to play a violin, you need to train the connection between your brain and the muscles in your fingers. When you want to speak well, you need to train the connection between your brain and the muscles in your mouth. Some students have an interesting experience. Maybe you have this experience too. You meet a foreigner who wants to speak with you in English. You want to say ideas that are in your head, but you aren't able to do it. You can't find the right words. Then, when you end the conversation and play it back in your head, you can see that you actually know the right words. But the conversation is already finished. Why do you have this experience? Because you have little training. Your speaking isn't automatic. And it is not automatic because you don't practice it often enough. When you want to speak fluently, I recommend speaking for at least 30 minutes a day. You can speak to a real person. If you don't have a real person for a conversation, you can do thinking aloud. It is necessary to really think aloud and not only think in your head. You need to practice the connection between your brain and your muscles. You can do this by thinking aloud. Does it make sense? Yes, says the girl. My teacher continues, fluency is not just about knowing many words. It's about being able to use the words you know smoothly and naturally. The boys from Brazil show that you don't need a huge vocabulary to be fluent. They use simple sentences and basic words, but they communicated effectively and made everyone laugh. This is the essence of fluency, being able to communicate your ideas clearly and without hesitation. Many students believe that they need to know thousands of words and have perfect grammar to be fluent. This is a common misconception. Fluency is about flow. It's about being able to keep a conversation going without stopping to think too much about what you want to say next. Of course, knowing more words can help, but it's not the only factor. Think of fluency like a river. A river flows smoothly and continuously. It doesn't stop and start. To be fluent, your speech needs to flow like a river. You achieve this by practicing regularly, just like you would practice playing a musical instrument or a sport. Let's take an example. Imagine you are playing the piano. At first, you might struggle to play a simple song. Your fingers don't move the way you want them to, and you make mistakes. But with practice, you get better. Your fingers learn where to go, and you can play the song smoothly. Speaking a language is similar. Your brain and mouth need to practice working together. The more you practice, the smoother and more fluent your speech becomes. There is a technique called shadowing that can help you improve your fluency. Shadowing is when you listen to someone speaking English and try to speak along with them at the same time. This helps you practice the rhythm and intonation of natural speech. You can do this with videos, podcasts, or even songs. Find something you enjoy and practice shadowing every day. Another important aspect of fluency is confidence. Sometimes students know the words and have the ability to speak fluently, but they are too shy or nervous. This can cause them to hesitate and lose their fluency. It's important to build your confidence. Remember that making mistakes is okay. Everyone makes mistakes when learning a new language. The important thing is to keep going and not let mistakes stop you. Speaking with confidence can make a big difference. When you believe in yourself, others will believe in you too. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. See them as opportunities to learn and improve. The more you practice speaking, the more confident you will become. Also, try to immerse yourself in English as much as possible. Surround yourself with the language. Listen to English music. Watch English movies and TV shows. Read books and articles in English. The more you expose yourself to the language, the more natural it will feel to speak it. Find a language partner or join a language exchange group. Practicing with other people is one of the best ways to improve your fluency. If you don't have someone to practice with, you can use language learning apps or online communities to find practice partners. Remember, fluency is a journey, not a destination. It takes time and effort, but with consistent practice, you will improve. Don't be discouraged by setbacks. Keep pushing forward and celebrating your progress, no matter how small it may seem. Finally, have fun with it. Enjoy the process of learning and speaking English. The more you enjoy it, the more motivated you will be to practice. Find topics that interest you and talk about them in English. This will make the practice more enjoyable and meaningful. So, to sum up, if you want to speak fluently, practice speaking every day for at least 30 minutes. Use techniques like thinking aloud and shadowing. Build your confidence and immerse yourself in the language. Find a practice partner and enjoy the journey. Remember, fluency is about flow, not perfection. Keep going and you will get there. The girl nods. Yes, it makes sense. I will try to practice more and not worry too much about making mistakes. Our teacher smiles. That's the spirit. Just keep practicing, and you will see improvement. Remember, speaking fluently is possible. Just keep working at it, and you will achieve your goals. If you want to speak fluently, practice for 30 minutes every day. Chapter 16. The best school for learning English. On the next lesson, one of the students asks an interesting question. She says, "Next week, I'm going home. I would like to continue studying in my country. I don't know how to choose a good school there. Could you help me? How do I know if the school is good or not?" My teacher smiles and says, "This is a very good question. Choosing a good school is important. Let me tell you some things that can help you decide if a school is good for you. First, I believe that when you read, listen, and speak a lot, you don't have to go to a school. You will learn English naturally by using it. For example, you can watch English movies, listen to English songs, read English books, and talk to friends in English. But if you want to pay for your education, a good teacher can help you learn faster. If you want to know if your school is good, you can start by checking how many words you know before you start the course. There are several websites where you can take a test to see how many English words you know. Take this test before your first lesson at the new school. After 5 lessons at the new school, take the test again on the same website. You can see how many new words you have learned. If you see good progress, it means the school is helping you. If you are happy with your progress, you can continue paying for your lessons. It is also very important that you enjoy every lesson. You should look forward to the next lesson. Learning English should be fun and interesting. If you enjoy what you do, you will learn better. You should enjoy every activity you do with English, like reading, listening, speaking, and writing. Another important thing is the teacher. A good teacher can make learning English easier and more enjoyable. You should feel comfortable with your teacher. The teacher should explain things clearly and help you when you don't understand something. A good teacher will encourage you and make you feel confident. I also give private lessons via Skype. If you are interested, I can teach you via Skype. This is a good option if you don't find a good school in your town. With Skype lessons, you can have a lesson with me no matter where you are. You just need a computer and an internet connection. If you want to continue learning with me, you can contact me and I can help you. This is great, says the student. I want to have private lessons with you via Skype. This is great news for me too. I didn't know that it was possible to have a private lesson with my teacher. Soon I am also going back to my country, and I want to have private lessons with my teacher. Having private lessons means you can have more personal attention. The teacher can focus on what you need to learn. You can ask questions and get answers right away. You can practice speaking a lot because it is just you and the teacher. This is a very good way to learn quickly. When you go to school, you have to see your progress and enjoy every lesson. It is important to see that you are improving. It makes you feel good and motivates you to keep learning. To sum up, if you want to choose a good school, you should check your progress. Take a test to see how many words you know before you start and after a few lessons. Make sure you like your lessons and look forward to them. Have a good teacher. Your teacher should make learning fun and easy to understand. Consider private lessons. If you don't find a good school, think about having private lessons on Skype. Learning English is a journey. It should be enjoyable and rewarding. When you enjoy learning and see your progress, you will be motivated to learn more. So, choose a school or a teacher that makes learning English fun and exciting for you. Chapter 17. What to do when you need help. It is Wednesday, and I go to school again. At the beginning of the lesson, Monica has a question for our teacher. She asks, "How do you know all this? Where did you learn information about studying languages?" Our teacher smiles and says, "That's a great question, Monica. There are many ways I get information about learning languages. Let me tell you about them. First, our teacher talks about her experience. I started teaching 7 years ago. Over these years, I have taught many students. Each student is different, and I learn something new from each of them. When I teach, I see what works and what doesn't. I try different methods. Some methods work very well, and my students learn quickly. Other methods don't work, so I stop using them. This way, I get better at teaching. Experience is a very good teacher. The more I teach, the better I understand how to help my students. Second, our teacher explains how she uses the internet. The internet has a lot of information. There are many articles, videos, and online courses about learning languages. I spend a lot of time reading articles and watching videos from experts. When I find something that looks good, I try it in my classes. If it works well, I use it more. If it doesn't work, I look for something else. This way, I am always learning new ways to help my students. The internet is a great resource because it has the latest information about language teaching. Third, our teacher talks about her friend, who is also a teacher. I have a very good friend who is also a language teacher. We meet often to talk about our teaching. Sometimes she tells me about a new method she tried in her class, and it worked well. I then try it in my class. Having a friend who understands teaching is very helpful. We support each other and learn from each other. It's like having a study buddy who keeps you motivated and inspired. Then, our teacher shares the most unique way she gets information, which she calls her magic park. Monica's eyes widen with curiosity as she asks, "This is interesting. How do you get the answers in the magic park? Where's the magic park? Can we go there too?" Our teacher chuckles softly and says, "What I'm going to tell you now may sound a bit unusual, but it works for me. I believe that if you have a question and you ask the universe for an answer, the answer will come. When I have a question and can't find an answer, I go to the magic park." She continues, "The park is not very far from here. It's a beautiful place with tall trees, colorful flowers, and a calm pond. Many people go there to relax and enjoy nature. I call it my magic park because it's magical for me. When I go there, I feel peaceful and open to new ideas. When I arrive at the park, I find a quiet bench to sit on. I sit down, close my eyes, and take deep breaths. I relax my body and try to clear my mind of any thoughts. Then I ask my question. I don't expect an immediate answer. I just let the question float in my mind and stay open to any ideas. That might come. Sometimes the answer comes as a new idea or insight that pops into my head while I'm sitting there. Other times, the answer comes later. It could be during a conversation with someone who mentioned something relevant to my question. Or I might come across an article or video online that provides the information I need. Sometimes the answer comes in the morning when I wake up, and I have a fresh perspective on the problem. What is interesting is that the answers usually come. I am very happy when they do. This method may sound strange, but it works for me. The park is a special place where I feel connected to something greater than myself. It helps me find answers when I need them. Our teacher's story fascinates me. I didn't know that people could ask the universe for answers. It sounds like a wonderful way to find solutions to problems. Maybe in the future, when I have an interesting question, I can go to the park and ask for an answer too. Monica looks thoughtful and says, "This is very interesting. Thank you for sharing. I would love to visit the magic park and try it myself." Our teacher smiles and says, "You are welcome to try it. The park is open to everyone. Just find a quiet spot, relax, and ask your question. You might be surprised at how the answers come to you." The lesson continues, but I keep thinking about the magic park and how our teacher finds answers there. It makes me feel hopeful and inspired. I realize that when we have a problem or a question, we should not be afraid to ask for help. There are many ways to find answers, and sometimes we just need to be open to them. When you have a problem with something, ask for help. Whether it's from a teacher, a friend, or even the universe, help is always available if you seek it. Chapter 18. How to practice English every day. The next day at school, a girl in our class raised her hand and asked our teacher an important question. She said, "Thank you for all the information you give us about learning English. Can you give us a summary? Maybe some rules that we can follow every day to help us learn English?" Well, our teacher smiled and said, "Of course, I can give you a simple summary. If you want to speak English well, there are 3 things you need to do: read, listen, and speak. You've heard this from me before, but let me explain it again in more detail." She continued, What's really important is that you do all three of these activities for the same amount of time. If you only focus on one or two of these things, your progress won't be as good as it could be. Our teacher then shared her experience. She said, "From what I've seen, it's important to use English every day for at least 90 minutes. You don't have to study in a traditional way, like memorizing words or doing grammar exercises. Instead, it's good to use English in a way that feels natural and enjoyable. Let me explain each activity more carefully. First, let's talk about reading," our teacher said. "It's good to read for at least 30 minutes every day. This is the minimum. But don't just read to study English. Read to learn something new, to enjoy a good story, or to relax. Find something that interests you, whether it's a book, a magazine, or articles on the internet. The key is to enjoy the reading. If you enjoy it, you'll want to do it more often, and your English will improve naturally." Next, she explained the importance of listening. Listening to English for 30 minutes every day is also very important, she said. Start with something simple, like easy audiobooks, news in basic English, or podcasts for learners. As you get better, you can listen to more advanced materials. When you know about 2,000 words, you can start watching movies, TV shows, and videos on the internet. Listening helps you get used to the sounds and rhythms of English, and it will help you understand more when you speak with others. Finally, our teacher talked about speaking. Speaking is the last important activity, she said. You should try to speak English for 30 minutes every day. The best way to do this is to talk with real people. It could be your teacher, your classmates, or your friends. Try to find someone who speaks English at your level or a little better, and practice speaking with them. But what if you don't have anyone to speak with? Don't worry. You can still practice speaking by using techniques like shadowing and thinking aloud. Shadowing is when you listen to someone speak English and try to repeat what they say right after them. Thinking aloud is when you talk to yourself in English about whatever you're doing or thinking. I use these techniques myself when I learn Spanish because I don't have many native Spanish speakers around me. These methods really help improve your speaking skills. Our teacher then summed up her advice. As you can see, she said learning English is actually quite simple. All you have to do is read, listen, and speak. Do each of these activities for 30 minutes every day, and you'll make steady progress. It's not about studying hard, it's about using English in a way that feels natural and enjoyable. The girl who asked the question smiled and said, "Thank you. This is really great information. You're the best teacher." I was also very happy that the girl asked this question because it was my last day at school and I needed a summary of what to do next. I had spent 4 weeks in this class, and during that time, I learned a lot and improved my English significantly. Our teacher knew it was my last day, so she asked me if I wanted to say something to the other students. I stood up and said, "I am very happy that I had the chance to study in this class. I met so many nice people and I learned a lot. I want to thank everyone for being so kind to me. I will give you my email address, and if you ever want to stay in touch, feel free to contact me. I would love to hear from you. Goodbye, everyone. I'll miss you all, but I know that I have to continue with my life and keep improving my English." Now, it's been a year since my last day at that school. I kept using English every day, just like my teacher suggested. I used the techniques she taught me, and now I know over 4,000 words in English. It's amazing. I also have a new job. I'm teaching English to beginners, people who know only about 500 words. It's a good job for me because I know that I still need a lot of practice as a teacher before I can teach at higher levels. One thing that gives me confidence in my new job is that I had a great teacher in London. I learned so much from her, and now I'm trying to pass on everything I learned to my own students. I want them to be successful too. So, if you want to learn English well, remember to read, listen, and speak. Do each of these things for 30 minutes every day. It's simple advice, but it really works. Keep going, and you'll see great results.
Thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe for more videos.